game than Llanelli maybe. Will the weather affect that?
Yeah, I mean, that probably sounds a bit sort of damning to our forwards. Our forwards have played very well over the last sort of 5-6 weeks and really come into their own. And hopefully this will be a big test. Well, it is going to be a big test for them, and hopefully they'll come through it. We've got great backs. There's a lot of sparkle there, but sometimes, with the conditions permit, you just have to be a little bit more pragmatic.
What about the mood in the camp after the layoff?
Well, it's slightly a bit surreal because we've never been in this situation before. A game delayed for 24 hours. It usually gets put back until whenever you can find a convenient spot in the season. It's here, it's now. I think everybody's upbeat for it. It's a new, it's a new area for all of us, coaching and players.
Gareth, welcome back to Bath. A bit happier today with the conditions than you were 24 hours ago?
Yes, it's a different field. I think the decision was right yesterday, and here we are today, ready to go.
Similar conditions in a way to the match against Leicester a couple of weeks ago. Does that mean a similar approach required today?
We've devised a way we want to play against Bath, and it's not going to be the same as we played against Leicester. And we have to try to deliver the game plan. And where the conditions are going to have a bearing on that, there's no doubt. We have to see how this field reacts to the first 20 minutes, see how it cuts up, and see how much limitations it puts on what we want to do.
Bath have been at their best in Europe this season. What have you got to contain today in order to go through to the semi-finals?
Well, the catalyst is the cat himself, isn't he? When he plays well, Bath play well, and we're very aware of that. We're going to give him the type of attention that he deserves, and that's a big part of really what we need to bring to this game. The right focus, attitudes, right desires, and attention to detail like Mr. Cat.
No Stradey Park factor today. Are you confident that your side can perform as well here as you have done at home this season?
That's the challenge for us. That's a fair question to ask because playing away is totally different. And Leicester found that to their experiences in Stradey. We would have prepared ourselves. We have been preparing ourselves really for the away factor. We've talked a lot about it. We've made a lot of opinions really about what we need to do. We've done that. Now we have to see the acid test is now.
Well, we shall see kick off in just a couple of moments' time. Let's just briefly as well, just do the football scores actually. Arsenal 1, Liverpool 0, confirmed there. Dennis Bergkamp's goal decisive at Cheltenham against Burnley. Victory for the Minnows there, and they'll be in the draw for the 5th round later on tonight. Tranmere 3, Cardiff 1. Obviously, it's Ipswich, Man City live on BBC One tonight, and also the 5th round draw follows that. I must just quickly apologise to viewers in the London area who lost transmission a few moments ago for a couple of minutes. You didn't miss much. It was just Matt talking about things. Anyways, so now let's focus on the match at the Rec this afternoon. It's going to be obviously very, very wet, albeit not as wet as yesterday. So I dare say we're not going to see a running spectacular. So what are going to be the key areas for you?
Well, it's going to be one up front with the likes of Quinnell playing on tip-top form. They're going to have to make sure that they mark him out of the game and put them under pressure. It's basically whoever keeps hold of the ball for the longest time, because it is going to be very slippy, very greasy. There'll be a lot of big hits. Defence, as both coaches have said, is going to be important. So if you can keep hold of the ball, I think there'll probably be the odd penalty. Kickers are going to come into it. The likes of Jones and for Llanelli, who's been really dead-eye for the whole season. So I can't see many tries happening. But then again, you never know. It's often days like this where people like Catty might do the odd cross-field kick for the wingers to, skid in and score. I should think it'll be a good game, though. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, it'll be pretty red-blooded, that's for sure. Talking about red, plenty of scarlet in the crowd. And it's a fair old way over the Severn Bridge from Llanelli, and I'm sure many of those fans actually were there yesterday and were disappointed once they'd found that the game was off to have to go back again. But I'm sure that
anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that Bath are probably on their way. Who's going to win this?
I think Bath are going to sneak it purely because they're at home and they're on a bit of European form, and they've got the dander up at the moment. And that man there, I hope, will be sparking the Bath team.
OK, we shall see. Let's join Jonathan Davis and Eddie Butler, 2 Welshmen.
Hello, welcome to Bath. A huge cheer for the home side. They stroll past the Llanelli team in their huddle. A splash of red on the green turf. Floodlights blazing here, and underneath the soil, plenty of water. Bath, well, a lot depends on their forwards. Huge experience from Danny Grucock, Lions and England. Two Welshmen in the back row, Gavin and Nathan Thomas, talking about the forwards. How will Mike Catt control this game? He's at number 10 and he's the captain. And the man who will control everything for Llanelli will be Scott Quinnell, their captain, at number 8. Guy Easterby chose at scrum half, the little Irish Gurrier, the person who will pile in, make loads of tackles. But Scott Quinnell, captain and the main man. There's Scott Quinnell, Jonathan.
Yeah, two big players is Quinnell and Carty, I think, and I just feel Llanelli will have to target Cart. He's always in action, always in the thick of the action, getting balls from rucks and mauls. Everyone plays off him, so I'm sure, you know, they'll have to put him on the ground. Once he releases a ball, put him on the ground and take him out of the game.
A misty rain sweeps across the recreation field at Bath. Bath with the switch through the left boot of Ollie Barkley. Celesi Finau with the catch. Llanelli driving up.
Hands away, stay on!
Martin Madden at the back of the ruck there will be playing scrum half. Oh no, he picks up and drives, and he'll be doing plenty of that this afternoon. Stephen Jones infield. Matt Perry with the safe catch. Then the follow-up tackle. Llanelli pile in.
The numbers.
Well recycled by Bath. Llanelli forced to play it. Garen Evans. Mike Catt covering. Catt outside his 22, keeps it infield. Neil Boubia. Scott Quinnell inside him. Boubia opts for the high kick. Andy Long couldn't take the catch. Gavin Thomas goes down to cover. Perry with a switch of direction. There's Llanelli cover over there. Celesi Finau lets it bounce. Oh, amazing. An amazing non-catch.
Yeah, I just felt that he didn't get his footing correct here. Look at him, he was all over the shop and just decided not to risk it and leave it go into touch. They're throwing, but the conditions certainly dictate you know, the tactics of the miss. Mike Catt had an overlap on the left there and you know, didn't use it, just wanted to play in the opposition half, and I think that Llanelli have taken the option, I think. The wind is slightly favouring Llanelli, so it'll be very interesting.
Referee Alan Lewis.
Clear on the ground over here, okay? Get on with playing rugby. Do you understand?
Gavin Thomas, a Welshman, dishing out some boot work on his largely fellow Welshman, and it means that Llanelli have a penalty inside the Bath 22, and it's short enough for Stephen Jones to have a pot at goal.
Yeah, as Matt Dawson said in studio, it's a question of keeping possession and your discipline. It is going to be a tight match, and little indiscretions could lose you it.
Eight impeccable penalties against Leicester. Silent support from one of the Scarlet faithful, and a bit noisier elsewhere around this ground. Beautifully struck by Stephen Jones. There's the noisy support for Llanelli, and the visitors take a 3-0 lead.
Certainly up for it.
Gavin Thomas, who gave away the penalty. Mike Catt to restart. Could be useful. Oh, well taken, Stephen Jones off his toes.
I think that kick was meant to go midfield as high as he possibly could. But, you know, if you're going to drop kick, once you drop the ball on the halfway line, it's just going to stick, and restarts are going to be very difficult for both sides.
Come up to the line.
Alan Lewis just wants Bath to come to the line out faster than they did for this one. Andy Long with the throw. Mark Gaby the target at the front. I don't think we'll see much thrown long today. Bath tried to set up the drive. It's not going anywhere. They'll have to play it quickly. They haven't had the instruction from Alan Lewis yet, but here comes the up and under from Cat. Oh, that's a beautiful catch by Gareth Evans. Easterby, that's found space, although Matt Perry did have it covered.
He's okay, oh.
Perry was inside his 22, so we're exactly on halfway.
Very good kick. Watch this take. Gareth Evans goes up. Superb take, and that'll give him a lot of confidence. I'm sure it won't be the first he'll be taking today.
That really is. It's a great confidence booster, isn't it? You know there's one coming your way early on, and when you pluck it out of the air like that against Danny Grucock, it does wonders. There, a short throw from Llanelli, but that didn't go 5 metres. So free kick, Bath. Not a penalty, free kick.
Yeah, as you said, Ed, I think the short throw-ins will be the most positive ones today.
Nathan Thomas. Was he held back there? It's another fantastic catch by Gareth Evans, and here goes the fullback showing good pace. The pick-up and drive by Llanelli. Easterby, Fafino to chase. Perry again has it covered. Well read by the England fullback. And that's looking for space, although David Hodges, the American fullback, he starts heading infield back to the security of his fellow red shirts. Exactly in midfield. Neil Boubia. Boubia, the break by the centre. Has he got support? Still going. Boubia slides towards the touchline and over the line into touch.
Great break, good pass. Bit of a mismatch. It's Gaby against Boubia, just takes him on. But good defending by Barshaw, tracks him back, takes him over the touchline. Maybe Fino should have come on the inside. But again, a superb take by Gareth Evans. Usually on the wing, doing a good job at full back.
Here go Bath. Dangerous long throw, but very well taken by Mark Gaby again. Gaby took a line out at the front, and now he's taken one at the tail, and there's the value of the long ball. It means you can have a drive against limited defensive numbers. Again, well cleared by Gareth Evans. Gaby puts one hand on it, but it goes backwards. Matt Perry. Now he can't kick directly to touch. Doesn't want to. Guy Easterby. Scrum half covering. Easterby to Robin McBride. Llanelli recycle it. Stephen Jones. Numbers are back there for Bath. They looked at each other, well taken by Perry. No, by Tyndall rather. Madden piles in. It's there for Llanelli to turn over. Scott Quinnell. As ever, hard to drag down. Ball's gone forward. Advantage being played. It could be on for Bath here. They have numbers. Cat puts it behind Llanelli. Gareth Evans. And very secure play by the two fullbacks, by both Matt Perry and by Gareth Evans.
Great pace the game has started off. Llanelli taking the gate to them, forwards all over the top. But Cathy and Perry are really kicking the ball well, kicking it into space.
That ball's not going to come in till they're up. Come up. Don't throw it in. Don't throw it in.
Again, Alan Lewis wants Bath to hit the line out quickly. That's a ploy that nearly worked, but actually it's backfired completely, because here goes Stephen Jones. Hodges outside him. Jones on his own. Quick recycling. On goes John Davis. Penalty against Bath. Infringement at the ruck.
This is the break. It's a poor pass, and look at Gabe. He's too slow. The back row is just not on the ball, and he just throws a dummy, and Carey takes. Support doesn't get to him. But the forwards are there very quickly. But penalty for Llanelli.
Well, it all came from the turnover at the line out. Bath throw, they went for the tricky little short one, and it backfired.
Better than 2 doing it.
On a day like this, set-piece possession is so important. Stephen Jones, that crouched, slightly hunched style, but that's 10 out of 10 in his last 2 games. 8 against against Leicester, and now 2 out of 2 against Bath.
Yeah, I think John Carlett won't be happy. As we said, it will be a very, very tight game, and you know, easy penalty kicks won't help Bath's cause at all.
Out of the mud. That's higher from Mike Catt. Chris Wyatt with the take.
There it is. Stay on, boys.
Easterby. Excellent, wonderful catch by Matt Perry, and here goes Kevin Maggs, and he knows only one way forward. Straight and hard from the Irish centre come wing, and again that sets up Mike Catt to push Llanelli almost for the first time deep into their own 22.
Yeah, superb take by Perry, and then good positive running by Kevin Maggs, and this is just a lovely kick. Defence was up. First chance for Bath to attack in the opposition 22.
It's not the perfect attacking opportunity because it is a Llanelli throw, and John Davis will require some attention. In fact, it's Robin McBride, the hooker, who will be building himself up for the throw.
Yeah, I'm sure with conditions as they are, Bath will try and put pressure on the thrower and the jumper.
Boys, let's make sure we form these lineouts quicker, right? Then I can deal with them. Yeah, no, it's okay, you're okay.
Alan Lewis, he's worried about the... oh, there's the wonderful catch by Matt Perry. 2 hands and a shin bone.
Great take, isn't it?
There he is, Matt Perry. It's his birthday today. 25.
Boys, I've got to have this line out formed quicker next time. Else you're
Thanks for
liable to
becoming the record holder of a positional
get it organised beforehand.
number of caps, and you're only 25.
Up you come, come on. 4.
Robin McBride, tricky throw.
Yes.
Those are the Llanelli posts.
Scrum half, if you're out, get out of scrum half then. Out. No, they've only 4 now.
Mark Gaby is playing scrum half, and the referee wants him way out of the line out.
It's okay, stay on.
The catch is by Vernon Cooper. Llanelli try to rumble up towards the 22. They've done well.
That's it, it's okay, stay on.
And that was all the hard work of the forwards there. The drive by Llanelli, and Bath offside.
Yes, not behind the back foot. I think it was Williams. Here's the drive. They take it on, trying to secure a good possession with Stephen Jones to plant it downfield. And here they come, they're too eager, and there's Williams, number 9, just encroaching.
Stephen Jones, just looking at the touch judge's flag on that far side. It's a wind which is not entirely, well, it's not going anywhere really. It's swirling, isn't it?
Yes, definitely swirling. And I thought maybe Llanelli did win the toss and make Bath kick. And while they were out, the wind were favouring Bath.
Second good catch by Vernon Cooper, number 4 for Llanelli at the line out. And again, Bath penalised. Again, the importance of primary possession. Once you get your hands on the ball on a day like this, you almost invite the opposition to get to be under pressure, to get their mitts on it.
As Matt Dawson said, you know, it's possession that's going to certainly control the game and be a big influence on the result of the game. But I think if Llanelli are playing against the wind and are 6 points up, they'll be in a very happy position.
On a game of limited strategy, when the ball's not going to be flying back and forth across the three-quarter line, the number of turnovers may be small today. Llanelli throw long. It's well taken by Simon Easterby. Simon Easterby brother of Guy Easterby, back row and scrum half. And on comes the drive. Raw, basic rugby, but how effective it's working. Celesi Fina drops it, challenge for Bath to counter. The ball's gone forward, no advantage. Scrum back, but he just took his eyes off it.
That's when the forwards be really upset. Watch this great platform. Does he go offside there? But that was in the breadbasket. He should have taken that. Lee Davis comes on a dummy run, but that's just bad hands.
Celesi Fina, very strong, very robust, but he just looked up.
Don't come straight down.
He does love running at people.
No, I did. I gave you an engage.
Meanwhile, back up front, Llanelli have been penalised. Mike Catt. Well, that's a monster kick, but it hasn't found touch. Garen Evans. Garen Evans has been very solid at fullback. Jonathan Callard.
Ellery Hanley behind him. I just... he won't be happy, because I think the wind has changed again, and it is favouring Bath, because the length of Mike Catt's kicks compared to Stephen Jones's is huge.
Come in the space, yeah.
That flag now would suggest that it's in Bath's favour. They trail by 6 points. Important throw for Andy Long. That's not straight, but it's gone straight to Simon Easterby. Cuts inside
And
Mike Catt.
advantage over. Get away, get away.
Advantage over.
Bath.
Martin Madden. Not much has been seen of the prop, but there he goes from a standing start and makes it over the advantage line. Stephen Jones inside to Lee Davis. Hands off Mike Catt, stays on his feet.
Away, hands away. See advantage.
Easterby waits.
Penalty.
Jones. The little nudge through, no advantage. The referee had awarded the penalty, again at the ruck.
10.
They just can't control this Llanelli Park. It's a poor throw, which puts them under pressure. And little things like this have big influence on the match. He goes forward, and the drive is on. It's just another drive by Martin Madden. Over the advantage line, defence on the back foot, ball comes out. It's a scissors, and that's all they're trying to do, is get over the advantage line, sucking defenders in, and then getting a penalty.
You give away possession, and suddenly you've got Mike Catt having to make tackles against Simon Easterby and make tackles against big forwards. Three out of 3 for Stephen Jones. 9 points to 0. Llanelli leads. And Bath are giving away penalties, but they're also giving away possession at the set piece.
They've just got the upper hand at the forwards. They're just keeping it, they're driving, and they can't combat it at the moment. The only way they're doing it is just pulling it down or getting offside and giving penalties away.
Mike Catt, he's had very little good ball. The take by David Hodges. Danny Grucock came on top of him. Llanelli have managed to turn it round. That will stay infield. Maggs waits. Good catch by Maggs. Good tackle by Stephen Jones. Now then, Bath have the ball. Catt. Mike Tyndall. Tyndall, who's been in excellent form lately, but it's been turned over. Easterby to Jones. Jones punishes Bath. And again, even a Bath player in such fine form as Mike Tyndall can't get through the Llanelli defence so far.
It's a very simple game plan. They just try and knock you back.
I need bigger space, guys.
Close space down, and then just try and get turnovers, and then just turn them.
I need more space, that's fine.
Andy Long in his own 22.
In the 15,
start making life difficult for themselves by moving around, and it's cost them again. Lee Davis.
Release!
Davis has to release it quickly. Not quickly enough. Alan Lewis gave him a chance.
Leave it down. Don't touch.
And it was such clean line-out ball for Lee Davis that the forwards didn't have a chance to get there.
Yeah, it was against the throw-in. I think it's Hodges, quick ball. And it's a simple crash ball, and he's isolated. Gavin Thomas does a good job. It goes in. Penalty, not releasing it.
are still in their own half. They will have this throw into the line-out. They moved their forwards around in a very complicated fashion for that defensive line-out. They're arriving late for this one.
They've got to get possession, and you know
they've gone short this time. Steve Borthwick took the ball. Free kick against Llanelli for having too many players in the line-out.
I think Bath have got to get possession. Here they go again. They've shortened the line-up. They've got runners now.
Gaby's on his own though. He did well to recycle it that quickly. For Cat to Tyndall. Tyndall to Perry. Perry well tackled. And again, after the tackle by Wayne Proctor, Matt Perry not releasing the ball. Plus Chat, 10 metres. And from just the penalty, Stephen Jones is suddenly within range of the posts. David Hodges having attention.
Hodges, what he does here, he gets his head in the wrong position. Gaby comes in, watch number 6, bang, head in front of the legs. He's got to tackle, putting his head behind the legs, and that's what happens. Taught in school, correct technique is so important for kids watching the game. Bang, head on the wrong side, you're going to get hurt there.
In American schools, perhaps they teach other rules, like gridiron.
Yeah, they got helmets on there, haven't you? But no, it's a bit of chit-chat, and it's 10 yards, and now another kickable penalty for Stephen Jones.
David Hodges, not too badly hurt by the bump. He has got a head guard on, but it's soft and squidgy.
It's not a helmet.
Stephen Jones. It is long distance. Into the wind, we've finally decided, we think.
Yeah, we're not sure.
That's a fantastic strike, and the way the ball held up then, it did suggest that that was into the teeth of the wind, and that makes it an even better kick by Stephen Jones. Bath 0, Llanelli 12.
It's very difficult to kick in these conditions. I think it's your standing foot that, you know, you're worried about. It's got to be firm, and that's the difficulty in kicking. So you'd be very pleased with his performance.
Mike Catt. The penalty kicker becomes the clearer to touch. Just an interesting point, Jonathan. Llanelli are 12 points to 0 up, and we've seen very little of Scott Quinnell on the charge. We've seen Martin Madden a couple of times.
It's just a collective effort. It's very simple what they're doing. You know, it's error-free, and they're starving Bath for possession, and Bath will have to try and, you know, counter this by shortening the line of getting quick ball from scrums and just getting possession for their backs, because at the moment their forwards aren't competing.
Again, Bath, it's a huge muddle there, but Danny Grucock does well to win it, and it is good ball for Catt. Tyndall.
And away, get hands away.
Quick ball for Bath. Grucock, that's more like it, takes on Stephen Jones and belts him backwards. Catt behind Finau. Finau lets it bounce. Garen Evans is in his 22, taken out of it now. The fullback has done well to recycle it. Responsibility from the halfback, the acting halfback, to clear that, because Llanelli were, well, they weren't very well realigned there. They had to commit plenty of players to get that ball under pressure just on their 22.
Yeah, Stephen Jones was hurt making the tackle on Grucock, I feel, and
not surprised.
No, it's a bit of a mismatch, but East to be done extremely well there. Realised that Stephen Jones was injured, just took it on himself. Here he goes, bang. Again, the head is on the wrong side. You've got to get your shoulders in. So head should go behind him. Look, bang, he just ducks his head. That's a clash of heads.
There is Stephen Jones. He's up. He is a very good defensive outside half. It's probably just
One out.
the sheer bulk of Danny Grucock coming at him that makes him lose track of his technique. Again, it's that quick take, and it's worked well. Steve Borthwick, Danny Grucock's partner in the second row. Andy Williams, Mike Catt, Gaby out in the three-quarters. Gavin Thomas, another flanker, out in the three-quarters, but they haven't made any ground yet. And Cat will kick. Finau, Gareth Evans. Wonderful kick by Gareth Evans. I just think, Jonathan, that when Finau is being kicked at, he's letting Gareth Evans take it.
Yeah, I think he has taken it there. It'll be interesting to see. I just think that Bolshaw, is he committed? That is. Oh, he got away with that. I think his ankle. I think he might have caught his ankle.
I don't think it's the worst challenge you'll ever see. Ian Bolshaw goes to the charge down and
I just think his feet land on Gareth Evans' ankle. He's got to get up anyway. Playing on now. Get up and get on your feet.
He's up, and play has moved on.
Don't come in the side. It's okay.
Bath
Hands away, Llanelli. That's okay.
Trundle it forward. They're finding it hard going up front though. Now Mike Cat, for the first time, sets off on a run on his own. Wonderful run by Cat. But the break now by Mike Tyndall. Did he have support with him? Great work by Cat, great work by Tyndall, until perhaps the final moment, and perhaps Tyndall knows
What
it.
a superb break. Mike Cat just sees the opportunity, throws the dummy and goes. Support. Finau was sucked in. And they should have done more with this. Lack of communication, maybe the kick ahead. Bolshaw wanted the kick. Tyndall wasn't sure what to do. Look, he's looking for the pass. And that is a superb tackle again by Gareth Evans, just off his feet from being injured. Take your man, take the man with the ball.
You could just see Bolshaw moving into top gear then. That's when he wanted the ball.
And that's where Cat is at his best. He is brilliant in that situation. You can't give him any space.
Llanelli now under pressure. Bath, they rolled it forward slowly, then they cut through at pace. Llanelli under pressure. Madden clears up the scraps at the line out. Easterby takes the kicking duties on himself. Bolshaw waits and takes. Perry in field. Perry tackled by Easterby. Stephen Jones is in there making a good tackle.
Okay, we'll take a stop.
Quick blast from referee Alan Lewis there.
I think Gavin Thomas was lucky that the Bath forwards drove in. Stephen Jones just turned him in the tackle. It's one thing outside ours, which is so much bigger, stronger. They tackle like back row forwards, you know, look at Stephen Jones, Johnny Wilkinson, even Neil Jenkins.
Break up, break up, break up.
Ref will have a word with the front rows here.
Break up. Break up, break up. And engage.
Alan Lewis swaps sides. And he's penalised Martin Madden for turning in.
No, that's against him.
Do you want to have a go at that one, Jonathan?
Yeah, he's turning in. Pressure was on, he just turned in. It's very difficult if you get the upper hand. Again, with the footing, so difficult to keep your footing. Again, the wind with them, because I thought they might have gone for the penalty. A superb kick by Cat.
Bath, at last, after 25 minutes, have had nearly 3 minutes now of high pressure rugby going forward. And what a different side they look. Mike Cat, with a greater degree of urgency, calls out the move, and this is an attacking line out where Bath have the throw. Important one for Andy Long. They go long towards the tail, and it's backfired. Simon Easterby comes away with it. Stephen Jones. Bolshaw keeps it in. Perry. Tackled by Boubier, that's 2 knock-ons. But that's a huge disappointment for Bath. And again, the line-out let them down.
I can't understand, when you are starved of possession, superb tackle by Boubier there, good kick, and I think I've worked the window. It's certainly going towards the far touchline. But I just feel if you're not getting possession, and you're in a very attacking position, why do you throw the ball to the back line in these kind of conditions? He's tried it twice now and he's lost it twice. So you've just got to secure possession.
Just look at the movement here from Bath, and it's a long, dangerous throw. And you know, there's so many forwards, so many gaps, so many forwards have to run around the back of the line. There's no real target there, and in these conditions, it puts a lot of pressure on Andy Long.
Yeah, and you know, the hookers, you know, on the stat sheet, they are to blame, aren't they? And I think he should take the easy option and just secure ball, because they had a bit of momentum going. Carty had hit the hole and put players through gaps, and I just feel they had to just secure it and keep possession, attack for a couple of minutes.
Scott Quinnell, now that's good scrummage by Bath. They turned that.
2 up, stay down, 3, 3.
Llanelli have the put-in again. Perhaps a bit lucky there, because Bath had the nudge on then from the moment of engagement.
No, wait.
Scott Quinnell is going into the gap between wing forward and second row. In fact, he's not really giving any weight there, so it's extra pressure on Llanelli there. They've only got 7 forwards who can push because the hooker's striking, and without Scott Quinnell's weight, that's 6. And if Bath go for the shove,
square and go in and pack straight and push straight. Understand? And engage.
The initial nudge would be important, wouldn't it?
yeah, John Davis has done well. He did turn in a bit there. And again, it's a wonderful how Scott Quinnell even manages to stay on his feet for a few seconds there. And here goes the other charger for Llanelli, Martin Madden. Wonderful drive by the forwards. Quinnell again, that's what he's great at, through Andy Williams. Vernon Cooper can't take it. Advantage being played. Bath might cut free from here. Cat. Balshaw outside him. Balshaw called for the kick. That will find touch. But there again, balls will be lost on this greasy surface, but...
Is that advantage there? Because, you know, now that they kick in the touch, it's slightly throw-in. Whereas if it had given the penalty to Bath, they would have kicked the touch and it would have been their throw-in.
Well, it wasn't a penalty, was it? It was just a scrimmage for knock-on.
Let's get our space here, boys.
Sorry,
out of the space, Bath.
my mistake.
Bath.
But it's a very good question, John.
Space, please, boys, at a clear line, 1 metre. 1 out, 9, out you go.
The halfway line.
Stay out, from
Mike
half, stay
Cat,
out.
if he gets good ball, it looks as if he will be able to do something special. Wyatt is the target.
Stay!
Robin McBride loops to Quinnell, who drops it. So, the fly hack. Advantage now being played. Kevin Maggs.
See you, Don.
Advantage still being played. Williams feeds Steve Borthwick.
Stay on.
Cat.
Play on, advantage over.
Well taken by Garen Evans. No, it wasn't. The referee spotted a knock on there, and Garen Evans knows it.
Yeah, first mistake for Garen Evans. Another good kick. It'll be difficult to see from that angle as his back is towards us, but it's a super. This is the knock on from Scott Quinnell. He'd be unhappy with that. You can see by his reaction, head down on the floor.
Get it square, get it in. Get it in.
Good attacking position, but that's a bad scrummage. Nathan Thomas knocked it forward, but a number 8 having going backwards like that. I mean, it's very hard for him. The front 5 needs to do better than that if you're doing a back row move.
I think Llanelli have definitely got the upper hand. You know, they're dictating very easy throws in the line out. The snap shove against the put in. There'll be some thinking to do at half-time with the back forwards.
Now then, if there is going to be pressure on Llanelli, it'll be on John Davis. There it comes. They squeeze him up. Scott Quinnell, as ever, makes a difficult scrummage into a scrummage that at least has given Stephen Jones the space to clear from his 22.
Yeah.
Stephen Jones goes back towards his 22. What's happening on the touchline?
Thanks, Ed. I'm alongside Llanelli team manager Gareth Jenkins. Anthony Buchanan, rather. Anthony, 12-0 up. You must be delighted with the points you've got on the board in this first half hour.
Yeah, it's an ideal start for us, you know, where the game really hasn't taken a pattern yet. Its conditions are quite slippery out there, but Bath seem to be intent on a kicking game, and we're carrying the ball quite well, and as Garen Evans is doing very well at full back, and we're quite steady, so we're comfortable with the way the game's going at the moment.
Anthony, thanks very much.
Basic error by Barclays. He hasn't been involved in the game, but he should have stood his ground, just got in front of Cat, and again it's just eased the pressure.
Simple offside. Stephen Jones puts it towards touch. Bath still with this breeze behind them in the first half, and they trail by 12 points to 0.
As we said, in conditions like this, little errors have big influence on the match. You know, if you're offside, if your throw-ins, if your scrums go in, little knock-ons, because you lose field position. And with the pitch as heavy as it is, it's very difficult to get back into that attacking position.
There are the flags above the teacher's stand at the end of the ground here at the Rec. Changing rooms down at the other end, the old clubhouse. Behind the stand on the far side, the left-hand side as you watch, there's the River Avon running very high. Chris Wyatt with the catch. Llanelli will look for the drive here, nothing yet. They'll have to start moving it soon, and now it's happening. The set, and then the drive. Steve Borthwick will have to get back onside soon. You could, I don't know if you could hear Alan Lewis, but he gave Steve Borthwick, what, 6 shouts then to get back onside.
And he was tapping him on the back. It's very difficult to get out of that situation when you're tied in there.
Well, I just think you've got to make an effort, haven't you? You've got to say to the referee, I am trying, ref, or something. But here he is, Steve Borthwick for. Look at Alan Lewis, the referee.
Yeah, look at Chris White is helping him. Look at him saying, there he is. Guy with the scrum cap on, get him out, he's offside, and he's shouting and shouting. And even Nathan Thomas is shouting. And
yeah, and he did have plenty of chance there to retreat. Stephen Jones, his 5th kick at goal.
Get someone ready to hold it if he's... No, he's okay, he's okay.
5 out of 5 for Stephen Jones. The little punch there. They know they've had a marvellous first half, Llanelli. They lead by 15 points to 0. And perhaps Steve Borthwick's refusal to give up the hunt at that ruck, that maul, is a sign of Bath's frustration up front.
And that's all it is. Llanelli haven't done anything fantastic. Very simple, easy, good options.
Matthew Perry with Kevin Maggs with him. Maggs at Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones has had the hardest runners coming at him. Maggs recycles. Cat puts it behind Finau.
I just feel Llanelli will be happy with that. The line-up's going well. They're comfortable. They just take the ball, kill the clock. I think my Cat now might have to try and use it because they're not having that much ball. They have to use it better.
If you're kicking over half of the little ball you receive and you're struggling at the set piece, then it probably means you might have to change your game plan at half-time. Just a couple minutes left of normal time. We've had a couple of bumps. Again, Chris Wyatt. He was once a one-man line-out for Wales, and he's certainly done his line-out cause no harm here today. Guy needs to be repositioned, Stephen Jones. They're having trouble digging it out, but as long as they edge forward, here now it comes to Jones.
I think what my Cat is trying to do is maybe get into a good field position and then put pressure on the Llanelli line-out, but the line-out is working well.
5 penalties by Stephen Jones. There it is. That would suggest that it's in Llanelli's favour. It's a peculiar win. Bath, plenty of movement again, but Borthwick does win that one. Cat takes it on himself, up to the advantage line, the gain line. Ollie Barkley halted in his tracks by Neil Boubier, by Lee Davis, and a double hit. It's a ponderous ball for Bath. Tyndall, the little dink and chased. Was he touched by Scott Quinnell? It's another knock-on. Oh, no advantage then. It was a little turn of the shoulder by Scott Quinnell.
Back off. Just back off. Just back off.
Touch judge will come in.
I think Gareth Evans has taken a bad bang.
I just want to have a word.
Well, it's a penalty to Bath at the moment for the late challenge by Scott Quinnell.
You just stay there.
But the touch judge is now coming in.
12 over.
Yeah.
Reds. 3 out.
Yeah.
Blacks.
I'm going to do nothing with them. Right.
Yeah. They were the punchers.
Yeah.
That's all I saw.
Okay. 12 and 3, please. 12 and 3. 12, no, not you. 3 Bath, please. Let's settle ourselves.
12 and 3.
Right.
Simon Ems and Lee Davis.
My money's on Lee Davis there, actually.
Just settle ourselves down and get on with the game. Number 8. I expect more from a captain. Yeah, no, the shoulder was low and you took him. You could have easily backed out.
Sorry, Jonathan.
This is the incident, but well, there was an infringement. Look at this.
I tell you what, there was no advantage there. That was a great opportunity for Bath. I know the referee was right on the spot for the Scott Quinnell moment, but Bath had turned that ball over after the knock-on by Gareth Evans, and well, they'll still have this shot at goal through Ollie Barkley.
Good vision by Tyndall. Saw the defensive line. The ball was very slow coming out of the ruck, and he had no option. So the little chip over the top, and it was a very good option. One, does he go for the penalty and try and milk it? If they would have kept on, maybe there was an opportunity for Bath to score a try.
Oh yeah.
Ollie Barkley,
Sorry, guys.
capped by England on their tour of states in Canada last summer. And relief for Bath right at the end of this first half. They're on the scoreboard at last. They still trail by 12 points. At half-time, it's Bath 3, Llanelli 15.
Yeah, I just think that the pack have dominated the Llanelli pack, and the half-backs have controlled the game exceptionally well. Bath will be very happy to come and have some score on the board at half-time. It's just they've got to work hard. They came back into the last 10 minutes, but a lot of work to do. Llanelli slight favourites.
Well, interesting first half certainly, and pretty tough to call. Back for the second half in good time. And that should tell you how we stand between now and 6:15 this evening. Obviously, many of you will be tuning in around about now to see Ski Sunday, but because of this match being rearranged from yesterday when it was postponed because of the weather, we're showing the second half obviously live, and then we've got the best moments from Leicester against Leinster at 5:15. Shall I tell you the score? No, I don't think I will. So you can watch that anyway at 5:15 this afternoon. Now, football-wise, very, very eventful game at Highbury today. 3 players sent off, 2 for Arsenal, 1 for Liverpool, and Dennis Bergkamp's goal in the end was enough to put Arsenal into the 5th round. Cheltenham, another upset after Walsall yesterday. Cheltenham beating Burnley by 2-1. Tranmere beating Cardiff 3-1. Ipswich Man City tonight live on BBC One. And one interesting score from the Zurich Premiership, Newcastle 22, Wasps 23, and that was a Kenny Logan conversion in the very last minute from the touchline to give Wasps victory in the northeast, which certainly makes the relegation situation more interesting as far as Harlequins are concerned. Okay, what do you make of that first half?
Yeah, it was, well, I suppose it was, as we thought it was going to be, very you know, physically dominated by Llanelli.
Did we think that?
Yeah.
To that extent?
Yeah, I think Llanelli were always going to come out and fire it up front and take them on up front, yeah, without doubt. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said that. Thanks very much, yeah. But what hasn't helped Bath is they haven't been able to get in the game, and they've kicked the ball virtually every single time they've had it after 2 or 3 phases, and it looks to me that the Bath boys forwards especially want to get in, but they haven't got any rucks to hit, they haven't got any mauls to drive, and yet Llanelli, they're giving targets, they're putting pressure on Mike Catt, not when he's got the ball, but when they've got the ball, they're running down his channel, they're making him tackle. Quinnell, Madden, you know, they are making inroads there, whereas really Bath have struggled to get into the 22, and once they did, they scored 3 points, but really that was the first time, I think.
It's an old-fashioned kind of a game, because we're not seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 phases of play, are we?
No, you'd like that. You prefer the old-fashioned type of game, don't you? But it has been. It's the punters down there and at home will enjoy it because it is a very traditional type of game, very wet, very windy. We haven't quite worked out where the wind's going yet, but I think it's sort of neither here nor there whether it's blowing with or against. It's going to be a matter of grinding each other down, and 12 points, that's the big lead for Llanelli.
Well, Stephen Jones had one break early on, and then Mike Catt replied with what could have been the telling break of the half.
Yeah.
And obviously Mike Tyndall had the chance perhaps to give Ian Bolshaw a score. How did you see this?
Yeah, well, initially I thought, you know, Bolsh had come offline and maybe made the wrong decision, but looking at the video, if you have a quick look at Bolsh, when he cuts back inside, when he cuts in out, just watch for him to point there, and basically he's saying kick it, because the full-back's gone to tackle Mike Tyndall. It's 2-on-2. If he'd grubbered that along the floor, you know, I think Ian Bolshaw with his pace would have scored quite easily. So that was just a breakdown in communication. But that's what happens when you don't get too much of that type of ball running around. You lose that communication edge, and just at the moment it seems very much one-dimensional. Yes, they hit a target, then Catty's hitting the corners. I would be tempted to think that, you know, John Callard, the coach, and Mike Foley will be changing that at half-time.
I was going to actually ask you about what John Callard might do now, because of course they had two key line-outs and threw it over the back straight to one of the Scarlets' back row, and you can't afford to do that, especially in conditions like that.
No, I mean he'll be pulling what's left of his hair out big time, because they hadn't got in. They'd only got into 22 probably 2 or 3 times, and it was a great touch find from Mike Catt, and really that is banker ball in the conditions. Whatever the call is, I don't know what their line-out calls are, but it has to be a banker ball. Try the drive, punch the fringes and get in there as much as you can and be physical. But as I say before, they're just not giving themselves a target for Bath to get in the game where Llanelli are.
OK, we'll talk more in a sec. This weekend, big weekend for European rugby with the Heineken Cup reaching the last 4 stage. But of course, next weekend, it's a huge weekend for European rugby because it's the opening Saturday of the Six Nations Championship.
We want to play exciting rugby, but I think people, and certainly you guys, will only remember teams that win, and we failed to do that in the last 3 Six Nations. So to me, you know, rugby's about winning. You only remember winning, and regardless of our rugby last year, and yeah, we won the Six Nations. Let's not forget that. You know, we didn't get the Grand Slam. You know, and it's a burning desire of mine. I know it is of everyone involved with the England team.
Yeah, the mood is very upbeat. We've had a week's training last week, and the guys were pretty buzzing along in it. I mean, we've new faces, we've new structures put in place, so it's exciting enough times.
Core of the squad have been together for a number of years. We've introduced young players, new players, and they've come in seamlessly. So that means you're not starting from scratch every year, you're just building on what you've done over the last few years. And there's a good feel about it. But, you know, there's been a good feel. I've been in many squads where there's been a good feel, and that's not been translated into performance and results. That's what we've got to try and achieve now.
We've got to take it a game by a time, really. I mean, you know, we didn't have the best of autumn international periods, but you know, things are looking slightly better on the club front now. Llanelli obviously did a tremendous service for Wales by reaching the European Cup quarter-finals. So I mean, you know, realistically, if we can get a win in Ireland, we've got 2 home games coming up after that. So I mean, there's no reason why we can't really make a good crack at the championship.
We hope that autumn was not an exception in the season, and we hope to play like in autumn or even to improve.
Hopefully we'll have a better show than last year. Unfortunately, we were hit very hard by injury last year, and we never had the same halves on the field for any of the 5 games. We've got a bit more depth in our 3 quarters this year than we had before. The Vakari's return to the fray and looking very positive. I think we could pull 2 games this year. I'm feeling quite confident in that.
I'd say they're definitely favourites. But as has been shown for the last 3 years, somebody is always out there willing to beat them. And I think I'd nearly say that every side could lose a match this year. There's somebody going to cause upsets along the way. It's the nature of the competition.
Maybe the best team in the world now. So to beat England, we have to be very good.
And anybody who knows anything about rugby would say that England are, you know, clear favourites for this tournament. No, it's just I think it's the beauty of the Six Nations tournament so far is that everybody seems to, on the day, have the chance of beating anybody else, you know, and England have suffered for that. It's been the high-profile games that they've lost in.
To my mind, on paper, they're the team at the top as usual. I mean, they've got magnificent depth, great coaching staff, great organisation, a lot of money. But in saying that, sometimes the passion disappears, doesn't it? And as it's proven in the last 3 years, they always seem to have a tripper.
Well, it all starts with Italy or France-Italy at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, then Scotland-England, also Saturday, Ireland-Wales, Lansdowne Road next Sunday. And this will be the last Six Nations Championship, which the great Bill McLaren commentates on. And this week, there's a special tribute programme to Bill.
Bet loves Glenn Miller. She's had 3 love affairs. Frank Sinatra, the whole of the Glenn Miller Orchestra and me, in that order. Yeah. Oh, she loves Glenn Miller. She goes potty every time. We'll have to dance in the lounge whenever he comes on. Aye, Glenn Miller. I like it too, I must say.
There are times, Bill, when, you know, you're stuck on the central line and you think, I can't bear this anymore.
Central line.
Get me out of here. Take me to the Scottish borders. And then there are days like today when you think, I quite like the central line.
You're standing it very well for a city slicker.
Bill McLaren, Flower of Scotland, 11:35 Friday on BBC One. I must just tell you as well, if you fancy being at 1 or 2 of the Six Nations games, you've got a competition to win tickets coming up after the second half of the match at the Rec. And another apology, I'm afraid, to viewers in London and the South East, that we've obviously got a few transmitter problems and you're missing us now and again, but I gather you're back with us now. And hopefully you're going to see a second half which will be interesting to say the least. Llanelli leading by 15 points to 3. It's still a bit wet and windy down there. And some nice beanies from the Bath souvenir shop there supporting them. Matt Dawson, can you see this game going any way other than to Wales?
Yeah, it has to change. Bath have to change the tactics. If both teams carry on playing the way they are, then Llanelli are going to you know, build a lead with some more penalties and probably score a couple of tries. However, I think if Bath get their forwards into the game and get a bit more physical, get a bit more passionate, with the likes of Balshaw, Tyndall, Cat in the back line, they can create.
Okay, let's see. Let's go back to Jonathan Davis and Eddie Butler. Oh.
I think he's the only person sleeping at this ground.
Apart from the Bath Park, maybe, but I think they've bolstered the park by putting on Regan and Lyle, I feel, so...
Stephen Jones starts the second half. Catch by Nathan Thomas.
And away, Red. That's fine.
Katz. Long kick downfield by Mike Katz. Garen Evans runs it outside his 22.
Retreat, boys, retreat. Yeah, okay.
Perry. Cat again. Behind Celessi Finau. No, he's not the greatest kicker in the world. Oh, I take it all back.
Retreat, six. Retreat.
Cat again.
Okay.
Good covering by Easterby. He's knocked it on, though.
Went forward.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult, these conditions, to take the bouncing ball. And I think he took a hit to the head.
Number 1.
I also, there he is, goes in, cleans out.
Bind up early.
Garen Evans is struggling. He ran over to collect that kick earlier on in the move, and his ankle is really struggling. As you see, just out the corner shot, he's coming off.
Guy Easterby seems to be getting up.
Oh,
there's the clear out by Finau.
And the elbow of Tyndall caught him on the head. I think Barry Davis has just walked on as well. Barry Davis at full back. has just been brought on instead of Gavin Evans with the ankle injury.
So Mark Gaby's gone off, Dan Lyle is on. Purposeful start by Bath at this initial period in the second half. Well, not so purposeful now, because Llanelli have taken one against the head, and that was all down to the drive from the scrummage. And although it has led to a reset scrummage, Llanelli will have the put in. Scrummage goes down, referee will change sides.
I have to see. Wait for me, please. Crouch and hold. Engage. Thank you. Hold it. Thank you.
Scott Quinnell with the pickup and the drive. And Bath have got to get away from there. Easterby, Jones, Ian Balshaw. Matt Perry. Guy Easterby. Scott Quinnell. Oh, thought he was going to kick it. Instead, just sets up the ruck. Finau will chase this from the boot of Easterby. Finau. Well taken by Finau. He's on his own. Bath are back there. That's no offside there. Gavin Thomas did really well then to gather that for Bath. Cat to meet the kick. Charge down. Cat again.
Release it.
Squeeze ball.
Squeeze ball. Cat didn't play it fast enough. The ball got trapped. Penalty to Llanelli.
That is a psychological, result for Llanelli to get 3 points. Here's the kick. Lee Davis commits himself early. Great charge down. And Carty's under intense pressure there. He's trying to do the squeeze ball. Too late. Penalty Llanelli.
The ragdoll. Well, it looks like a Bath supporter who's just strung himself up.
Well, no, I saw that on Friday, and it had a Llanelli jersey on it, or someone's nabbed it and stripped him and put a Bath jersey on him.
The ragdoll, it is the prize for which the clubs have been playing since the 20s. Stephen Jones, 6 out of 6. Bath 3, Llanelli 18. So after a slightly sticky start to the second half, Llanelli have regained their 15-point lead.
Here's the Finau run. Lovely weighted kick. Gathers it. Good play by Gavin Thomas. Look, he gets over the top, takes the ball, stays on his feet.
No, that's another mistake by Bath. The drop kick restart has gone straight into touch.
The wind is definitely going towards that stand. I finally worked it out for Matt Dawson in studio. It's going towards the stand and the playing fields behind, so
Guy Easterby with the put in. Scott Quinnell picks up.
It's okay.
Oh.
It's all right. It's okay. Went forward there.
Well, that was loose play, and Gavin Thomas had better watch out.
Silly. Don't be silly. Hey, just move over. No. Leave him.
Trying to make his mark, Gavin Thomas. It's a great opportunity for the Thomas boys in the back row of Bath to make an impression on the Welsh selectors.
Llanelli penalised at the scrummage. It's John Davis
Straight down, 3.
taking the scrummage down. Why he'd want to take the scrummage down on the opposition put-in, I don't know, but you know.
It's about discipline. I think you've got to keep discipline. Points and tries especially will be difficult to score, so just give them a ball, because defences are so organised. It is difficult to break defences down, so just give them the ball and not give penalties away.
Yeah, I just wonder, you know, I can't believe John Davis would want to take the scrummage down. Still, there we go. The upshot is Ollie Barkley has this soon after Llanelli extended their lead. He's only had one shot at goal. Seemed to be on target, and then it just caught that wind Jonathan was talking about and drifted wide.
Yeah, that was smack in the middle for the wind caught it. I suppose it's going to be difficult kicking from that distance.
Be quicker.
Simon needs to be toyed with the dropout and leaves it instead to Stephen Jones. Matt Perry. Kevin Maggs. Through. David Hodges, but through Easterby, and Bath immediately have a second penalty, quickly taken by Williams. Gavin Thomas round Lee Davis. Celesi Finau on Mike Tyndall. What a collision! The replacement and club captain Dan Lyle sets it up. Barkley to Tyndall, Tyndall to Perry, Perry knocked it on. Llanelli have the turnover. Scott Quinnell and Guy Easterby finds touch. The referee says that was an advantage, but what a collision by Celesi Finau.
He's always done this. Watch it, he spots them, the ball. Cat is there, he's coming in. Great play by Gavin Thomas, but boom.
Not high?
For Finau, that was quite low.
Okay. There he is. He is a ferocious specimen. He just loves all this physical contact stuff.
And I think, look who's having treatment now. It's Mike Tyndall. I just feel that this might be an opportunity to bring Kevin Maggs into the centre. He is a tremendous ball carrier and would give the Bath forwards a target. Just feed him, hit him down the middle and leave the Bath forwards have a target.
Well, Eddie, Garen Evans has gone off with an injured left ankle. He's having it strapped down on the touchline at the moment, so that's the reason that Barry Davies has come on. Bath's 2 substitutions. Just spoken to John Hall, the forwards coach. Purely tactical, just wanted to get a bit more pace and urgency into that pack.
There's no pace anywhere at the moment because Mike Tyndall is still having a tension. It seems to be a lower leg injury, which was anything but the part of his body clattered by Celesi Finau. And Bath won't want big Mike Tyndall to be injured.
He's not looking very comfortable, is he?
Meanwhile, Steve Borthwick wins ball for Bath. Mike Catt. Suddenly there is urgency to Bath. Mark Regan, the replacement hooker. That's out, says the referee. Another turnover for Llanelli. Stephen Jones called for it and has it. Nathan Thomas back, can't control it. Did he touch it? Whose ball will this be?
Ooh.
He didn't even lay a finger on it, so it's a Bath throw-in.
And again, it's the possession. Released, too slow, turnover, and look where they are again. They're back and they're near their own 22. But they are certainly picking the tempo up and putting pace into the game.
Regan, you can see how quickly Bath are throwing the ball into the line out there. That's certainly an acceleration in their play. Catt runs. Gavin Thomas, he runs too. Tackled by Madden. Better ball for Catt. Now he puts his boot on it. Wayne Proctor, straight down his throat. Proctor has put it straight out. That's a mistake by Proctor because he had plenty of room to settle himself for that kick.
I think he's trying to go for the tram line, but not the greatest kicker in the world, Proc, so maybe it's just better. He's got to go towards the Bath line and then kick. You watch him, look how much distance he's got between the first chaser from Bath. He's just got to take it up and then put the kick in.
Bath throw into the line out. Llanelli steal possession. Easterby. And Kevin Maggs just looked up then at the wrong moment and knocked the ball on.
From the line out once again, losing the line out. Looking at that, I don't know, Kevin Maggs will be thinking, how did I knock on there? I was facing the other way, ball going over my shoulder.
Llanelli put in Dan Lyle, the whole Bath back row is up because they know Scott Quinnell's coming off it, but this time it's the release quickly from the number 8.
You can't walk off like that.
Lee Davis. Now that's Barry Davis coming in there. Easterby. It's very slow ball. There's nothing on for Quinnell because nobody outside him apart from 50 yards away, Wayne Proctor. They come left to Jones. Jones takes 2 to drag him down. Mike Catt's in there. Better ball this time for Llanelli. Guy Easterby takes it on himself. John Davis, the prop, plays scrum half. He slips away from Lyle. Good charge by the tight head. Celesi Finau to Martin Madden. Madden stopped in his tracks for once.
Stay on! Stay on!
On Rumble, Llanelli, there's nobody in the three-quarter line. Jones will do it on his own, puts the little chip forward through. Bath have cover there. Matt Perry back there.
Just felt they needed more patience, kill the clock. Good idea, but look, Finau's on his shoulder. He just needed a little pop to Finau. Or even just keep it short of the try line. Make Bath play it. Here's the first drive. They're all a bit flat, no depth. They need to go in there. They keep possession. But look at Finau going round there. Little shoulder ball to Finau. Just run out of patience they did. But I couldn't believe that Tyndall was walking off when Llanelli had possession.
Tyndall, well, there's Stephen Jones, but Mike Tyndall has come off, and there's a change at scrum half as well. Andy Williams gives way to Gareth Cooper, one Welshman for another. There's Gareth Cooper.
They're very tight.
Nuggety,
very tight.
Very quick off the mark. And it could be Tom Voice who's come on for Mike Tyndall. That'll make sense because Kevin Maggs will come into the centre. Voice will go on the wing. Now, Wayne Proctor, this time he runs. Wayne Proctor.
Away, 8, 9, that's good. Stay on.
Jones. Simon Easterby.
Hands away. Numbers!
Lee Davis. Boobia outside and Lee Davis with support from Stephen Jones. Good driving by the forwards. Robin McBride, Martin Madden. And the Bath are penalised. Hands in the ruck. Quite clear. And it wasn't just one player. 2 Bath players could have been nobbled there for putting their hands on the ball on the floor.
Ball goes in. There's Cooper. Next drive, Martin Mann. Look at Catty's there.
They've got to let go of that ball now. They've got to leave the ball going.
John Davis is pulling him and pulling him. Total frustration by Mike Catt.
Stephen Jones takes his time. Points to 3. Time ticking away here. We're still in the 3rd quarter.
No, well, you
Everything
can if you
could
want, but
turn
it's
around
time.
in this game.
You have about 20 seconds.
One thing has altered. The wind has almost died completely here. Perfect concentration, perfect strike from Stephen Jones. It's 7 out of 7 for the Llanelli outside half. 21-3 they lead. 18 points. Bath have to claw back.
Again, patience. Ball in hand, just taking it to them.
Okay.
It's slightly scuffed, but it's
And away, stay on.
straight to David Hodges. And that's not a good kick by Guy Easterby.
got to attack now, Bath. They've made the changes. They've got Mags in the middle, voice for pace, bit of variety from Cooper, and of course the influential Dan Lyle.
Danny Grewcock wins at the front. Clear it quickly. Gareth Cooper to Cat. This is one on Guy Easterby. Wonderful catch by Guy Easterby. That was swirling. When I said the wind had died, it would brood up. It had brewed up again, and that was just a great catch.
Lovely kick. Look, it didn't take his eyes off it. Good chase. Superb take. Reaction of the Llanelli players. He's messed it up.
Well, a safe mark has not become a safe clearance to touch. It's become a Bath put-in at the scrimmage. So he did all the hard work well and then fluffed it. Oh, it's a good scrummage by Llanelli, and Bath are under pressure there. Now that is definitely a case of tight head Simon Ends turning in there, and Alan Lewis has come round to his side.
He's on again, he's gone in again, hasn't he?
He has, but Llanelli can't get the drive on this time. Lyle to little Gareth Cooper. Goes astray. Matt Perry has to pick up the scraps. He's been held up.
Hands away, Llanelli!
Cooper to Cat. To Mark Regan.
Hands away, Llanelli! That's fine.
Cooper. Nathan Thomas knocks it on. It's just not happening for Bath. So many passes are going astray. When they were really in their prime, they would put people into space, but it's not happening.
They went the wrong way. Lack of communication between 9 and 10. Mike Cat had gone to the left-hand side. Should have gone left very early.
And there's even worse news for Bath. Mike Cat needs medical attention. There he is, and that it's a leg injury. That's as far as I can go with it. And
I'll tell you what I'm doing.
That's not a good sign. He's shaking his head, looking at the touchline. He knows there's something wrong. Hopefully it's just a bump on the knee. He'll be concerned. I'm sure Clive Wood would be concerned, because he's a very influential player on the English setup.
Start prodding away at a knee.
And when they do shake and stretch the knee, it's always the signs of ligament ache.
Simon Ems is fit on the Bath tight head, but John Callard, perhaps this might clear up a few things. Dan Lyle with the pickup. Gareth Cooper fresh on at scrum half. Now here's Mike Cat. Well, it wasn't his best pass, was it?
No, look at this. But look, you've got two in a lead, Davis. Superb defence on Fee now. He does well, Perry, get the ball out. But this is where it's a little bit too slow. Cat goes, and he's struggling there. I think just he's turned on something. And that isn't a good sign. If this wasn't a Heineken Cup quarter-final, Mike Cat would be on the bench now. And that isn't a good sign. Watch him as he goes, he comes off it, and he just pulls up a little bit.
It's when you pull up without contact that everybody starts worrying, and Brian Ashton and Clive Woodward in the England camp won't be looking at that with any pleasure. Anyway, Bath through Matt Perry, and Stephen Jones takes a clatter there, but very good covering work by Stephen Jones. Bath want to take it quickly.
Well, one thing, if you're a Llanelli defender now, look at, he's had safe hands all day, Perry. He's got superb hands, but the Llanelli players are everywhere. Stephen Jones just comes into shot, clatters Barry Davis, but he's happy. As I said, if you are now defending against Mike Cat, you've just got to try and shadow him, because he'll be dubious about going for holes. And look at now, if you turn to Cat has now moved into the blindside wing position, and like Voice has gone to stand-up position.
Mike Cat is almost out of the game unless this is a ploy. Bath tried to do one of their funny little short ones, but it wasn't straight. So another set-piece ploy doesn't come off. Referee pulls them in, not 15 yards, but more like 18 to escape the mud. There's Mike Cat.
I'm being very clinical now. If I was playing against Llanelli, I would just run at Mike Cat. There you go.
There you go. Scott Quinnell can do just that. Delivers it to Guy Easterby, who drills it towards Matt Perry. Fine kick. Perry to himself.
Okay,
play on, says the referee. Perry held by Proctor. Simon Easterby's there.
That's okay.
Well recycled by Perry. Here's Cat.
It's okay.
Has found space. Across comes Barry Davis. Davis under pressure from Bolshaw. Cat will catch. Held by Hodge. Finds Gavin Thomas.
Hands away, Claire. Stay on.
Gareth Cooper. Dan Lyle tries to crunch through the midfield. Martin Madden is offside there. Quickly taken by Cooper. Big tackle by Vernon Cooper, well laid back by Bath. Danny Grucock standing off. Robin McBride is offside, and he'll have to be careful because that's so obvious. That's almost yellow card territory.
You straight in the side.
Good defence, good play by Bath. At last the forwards are keeping possession, getting over, and that's driving in from the side. Got to go behind the last foot.
And Bath are going for tries. 21-3 they trail. Mike Cat is injured, but they are within striking range. They're that close. They haven't yet arrived at the line out, and referee Alan Lewis has insisted that they make their way there quicker. Borthwick, the target. Lyle, the secondary hit. Regan to Cooper, to Cat. Wonderful take by Barkley. Fantastic tackling on the Llanelli line, but Bath still have possession. It seemed Barkley had to score. Llanelli have scrambled their way, and not only that, I think they've earned themselves a turnover.
Get it here! Watch your feet, just don't feel it.
They have, and Easterby clears. What defence!
What a magnificent tackle by that man Easterby. He's in great play by the Bath backs. They suck him in. Boubier is beaten by the pass. Barkley's in. He should score there. He should have gone low. Brilliant tackle. Maybe a penalty there because he wasn't on his feet.
That was Easterby. That was the tackler who was still on the floor.
Watch this.
Couldn't he have slid in?
He's got to go low there. He's got to go low. That is a missed opportunity, but that is a penalty. He wasn't on his feet. Penalty to Bath.
Meanwhile, back come Bath. Gavin Thomas from the line out.
Hands away, Llanelli! Thank you. Stay on.
Cat. Bolshaw called for the kick, but Bath have won themselves a penalty. They can't take it quickly like that by Dan Lyle.
What is Dan Lyle trying to do?
Back 10, offside, number 3.
The penalty is against John Davis for being offside. Now then, what do Bath do? There's John Davis, and here's Mike Cat going for the corner. 25 minutes played of the second half.
They have to come away with something here. They have to come away with something. The pressure is intense. They should have scored. Barkley should have gone a lot lower and slid, and he had to get there. Went too high. Superb tackle by Easterby.
And a superb snaffle by Easterby. Got away with it.
That could have been a yellow card.
Bath. They can take their time coming to this line-out because Gavin Thomas was having some attention. Mark Regan. Well, they've lost 6 of their own throws. They're that close. This time Grucock claims it up the front. The maul goes to the ground. Llanelli have given away the penalty. Advantage being played. Cat. Barkley. Upended in midfield. Not the most robust runner. Barkley's a sort of skillful, silky runner. Original penalty. Ball pulled down. Kevin Maggs had to turn to take it. Tackled by Lee Davis. Bath with real urgency now. Gareth Cooper waits. Cat. Gavin Thomas is clean through. through the high tackle, over for the try, and Bath do get their reward from those attacking lineouts.
Patience. But look at the ball by Mike Catt. Lovely ball. Watch, they've got 3 and 4. 2, they're all there. The forwards were caught out. Nearly a good tackle by Easterby again. But watch who's there. They've got second row, 2, 4 and 3. Stephen Jones didn't have the time to reorganise this defence to get on the outside of his forwards. Catt spots the gap. Thomas runs into it.
There's still a long haul for Bath. They're up to 8 points. It's quite a simple conversion for Ollie Barkley, which would take them into double figures. If he kicks this, they will trail by 11 points. They still have to score a converted try and a try to take the lead. Barkley does add the 2 points. Bath trail by 11 points. They have 13 minutes.
There's enough time left. Watch this. Stephen Jones is there. There's 13 and he just hits a hole. That's just pressure. But no, there's a lot of time, enough time left for Bath to come back into this. Certainly you've got to pick the tempo but match Bath's pace.
You can just sense Bath nearly scored through Ollie Barkley. They did score through Gavin Thomas. They have injected pace and vitality to their challenge, and that's where they need to be first of all, down in Llanelli territory. So the first part of the comeback job has been done. There's the try scorer, Gavin Thomas. Makes his way up to the line out. It'll be a Llanelli throw.
He's played well. I think Gavin Thomas has played well today.
Stay there.
You can see how influential Mike Catt is to this side. Even on one leg, he's the one that just gives the try-scoring passes, hits the holes.
Important throw again. How important the role of thrower-in is on such days. Chris Wyatt heads towards the tail, then changes position, then gets one hand to it. John Davis clears up the deflection from Wyatt. Easterby waits. Stephen Jones very close to him. Sets up Scott Quinnell. Quinnell manages to get past Catt. Jones again. His job is to get Llanelli downfield. Tom Voice. Matt Perry hangs on to it. And then is held by Vernon Cooper, the second row. And Llanelli have earned themselves a put-in at the scrummage. And as we edge into the last quarter, Mike Catt is going to be penalised for a little bit of chat.
They drove the ball forward, just shut it. If you want to talk constructively, do so.
Possession is now vital. For the next 5 minutes, you've got to keep possession. Stephen Jones is going for goal, which will take the 2 clear converted tries that Bath would need to score. But I would now maybe keep possession for a little bit, because momentum is certainly on Bath's side and you just want to starve them of possession.
It's funny, isn't it? You build up the Bath comeback as orchestrated by Mike Catt, and then he loses it and gives away a penalty for lip.
If this goes over, maybe my decision to keep the ball in hand would be wrong.
Well, that is a fantastic kick by Stephen Jones. It ended up in front of the posts. Well worth seeing. I don't really like seeing penalties again, but we'd have to see that again.
That is a superb kick. I don't know how he does it. Look at that. Well, he tried to tap it down after it gone over. I don't think it's a good idea, that.
Llanelli, thanks to 8 penalties out of it, 8 attempts by Stephen Jones, lead 24-10. 14 points, knock on by Llanelli. Bath are back on the charge. It was a real setback for them. Although they had to score twice anyway, they still have to score 2 converted tries to draw the scores level. That's a good Llanelli drive again.
That was a slip.
But now there'll be pressure on the converter. If they do score a try, the conversions have to go over.
You just slipped.
Now Martin Madden, I think Martin Madden's got a point there. Llanelli drive, it goes down on the tight head side. Well, I think that's more than a slip.
Settle it there, please.
Better position by the Bath scrum.
Get it in.
That's another good drive by Llanelli, but that's a good pickup by the Bath back row. Bath keep the put in. If the scores are level, say Bath scored 2 converted tries, they would win on tries scored in the event of a draw.
After extra time.
After extra time.
A long way to go.
And do you know what happens if they're still level after extra time?
I know.
And they each score a similar amount of tries. We have a penalty shootout. Oh, wonderful drive by Llanelli. Scott Quinnell drives on. Support from David Hodges, and Easterby says, chase that, everybody. That's where Llanelli want to be. That's not where Bath want to be. They have to score 14 points. They have to score 2 converted tries at least.
That's a superb scrum, isn't it? Look at this scrum. Pressure is on. Just comes through. Dan Lyle doesn't help. He's not pushing at all. When your front 5 are under pressure, you need everyone to push. This is good hands, offloads, then the drive, and just kick and down and leave them attack from their own quarter.
Well, the performance by the Llanelli pack has done it for them again.
Stay, boys.
Huge performance up front.
Okay.
They've controlled the football and they've controlled the turnovers. Gareth Cooper does well to skip out of the challenge. Little Gareth Cooper on the charge. What a ball to Tom Voice on the charge. Voice trapped by Lee Davis and by Barry Davis. Bath, though, haven't given up anything yet. Cat to Nathan Thomas, to Bolshaw. Bolshaw slips. Kevin Maggs slips. More than slips. The ball slipped out of his grasp.
That was an opportunity. Lovely break by Cooper. And this is it. Look, Bolshaw's there. They're all coming across. He had to go wide. He had 2 men on the outside against the Llanelli forwards. Looks for the inside ball. Not gone.
Kevin Maggs, Ian Bolshaw, these are the international players who are just going to have to provide a real spark of magic if Bath can do anything. There's Ian Bolshaw. It's not a day for a top-of-the-ground pedigree like Ian Bolshaw. Gareth Cooper did well to start this.
Superb break. Misses it, gets a tackle, offloads to Voice, and he's away. He's got tremendous pace. Good cover. Lee Davis is back there. Barry Davis makes a great tackle. But this is where it should have gone quicker. Caddy looks at the ball, comes wide. Bolshaw had to go. He had Maggs outside against forwards.
Here's your man. Crouch and engage.
Time running out for Bath. Llanelli have a put in.
Thank you.
Quinnell picks up.
And release him.
Turns his body to present the ball for Easterby and Jones.
Oh, sorry, boss.
It's behind Voice.
Okay.
Perry comes across. Neat little chip by Perry. That's very clever by Boubia, although it has given Voice, Bolshaw a chance in open space. Bolshaw, Lyle outside him. Lyle held by his fellow American, David Hodges. A pair of Yanks in Bath. Penalty against Llanelli for offside. Ball thrown away, 10 yards on. Alan Lewis marches the penalty point.
10, please, 10.
Mike Catt going for the corner. They're still outside the Llanelli 22. The wind again has quietened.
Yeah, it's gone down. They're all not rushing against the clock, and look, they're all just walking to the line now. They've got to score quickly.
Bath through Cat come again. Knock on by Barkley. Turnover for Llanelli. Boubia, no advantage. scrummage in the middle of the field. Llanelli put in.
That's the turnovers. Llanelli have won 12 turnovers, and in conditions like this, you can't afford that. And look, that just sums it up, doesn't it? The Bath coach, hands in head, biting his nails. It's not a healthy job.
Stay on, stay on, stay on.
I don't think it was quite as bad as hands in head, Jonathan. Llanelli have earned themselves a penalty after winning the put-in at the scrummage. They now have a penalty, and they will be in absolutely no rush at all to take it.
Make sure you're down with one shoulder.
Stephen Jones drills it safely into the Bath half.
Red 6. Yeah, I know when he's down. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I thought Red 6.
Llanelli line up David Jones to come on as a replacement.
Wait for me. Wait, I want that substitution.
David Hodges comes off. Another fine game by the American.
Since they've moved him to blindside for back rower, he's had an immense time at Llanelli. He just compliments Scott Quinnell.
It's a double substitution by Llanelli. Martin Madden comes off. Well, he thinks it's all over. Phil Booth is on. There's Martin Madden coming off. Still time for Bath to do something, but not if they lose possession again like that. Llanelli still have control of the football. Stephen Jones to the three-quarters. Celesi Fino. Mike Catt has to tackle him. Catt sort of jolted backwards. Llanelli in control again. Guy Easterby, this time well turned by Gavin Thomas. Good game Gavin Thomas has had for Bath. John Davis. Bath still making their tackles, still making it difficult. The ball is still coming back on the Llanelli side. Jones down the tram lines. Oh, Stephen Jones has controlled this game superbly. Quick take to Bolshaw. Kick downfield is in touch. Llanelli will have the put-in, the throw-in rather. 1 minute left. Sorry, John.
They've just strangled the game. Bath have upped the tempo, but just the defence has been superb.
At the back,
and that's man, he's kicked everything, hasn't he? He's been superb in dictating. He is the Heineken man of the match, Stephen Jones. He's been, look at this kick. Doesn't have to do anything else, just keep them down there, defence. The pack has been superb this afternoon, but someone's got to orchestrate everything.
The pack have done it again. They've won a vital line out. Here comes the fresh legs of Phil Booth on the charge. Very mobile prop. Jones. Finau again does the barging in midfield. Easterby to Scott Quinnell. Well offloaded by Quinnell to Easterby. The kick behind Boyce. Wayne Proctor.
Play on.
That was excellent cover work by Gareth Cooper. Wayne Proctor nearly in for the try. The pressure is still on Bath. We're into injury time. Bath players in front of the ball, and that surely is it. Miles in front, says referee Alan Lewis. 24 points to 10. Llanelli lead. A word from Scott Quinnell to the referee. How much longer? It doesn't really matter because we are in injury time, and Llanelli with a 14-point lead surely can't be caught now.
It's going to be just superb performance, nothing spectacular needed, just kill the clock.
Okay, up we get. There's slips all over the place here.
Slips all over the place at the scrummage.
Come this way.
Again, Alan Lewis, the referee, repositions the scrum, takes it out of the mud,
boys, back to the line,
and onto a slightly fresher bit of the recreation ground. It'll be a muted recreation ground when the final whistle goes, because Bath,
hands away,
former European Cup winners, have been knocked out. Stephen Jones just to put the icing on his own cake. Oh, Stephen Jones, what a day for the Llanelli outside half. 27 points for his club, 27 points for himself, 8 penalties, and now this drop goal. A sensational solo performance by Stephen Jones. Scott Quinnell, that must be it. He doesn't care. He bangs it straight into touch. And Llanelli move into the last 4 of the Heineken Cup. The Scarlets at Bath. There was a saying that said you don't win away ties in the quarter-final. But yesterday Munster of Ireland did it, and today Llanelli of Wales have done it.
Just so impressive. The whole pack were huge. They just drove the tight ball. They controlled their own put-ins in scrums and in line-out. And even Scott Quinnell wasn't that influential today. The whole pack took over. Stephen Jones controlled it, and he just won the battle of the forwards, possession, and more importantly, territorial advantage, and they turned all that pressure into points.
Chris Wyatt, Scott Quinnell, Lee Davis, huge smiles. And there it is. It wasn't just done for Llanelli, it was done for Wales. They've had messages of support even from their near rivals and neighbours, Swansea. Llanelli RFC in the last 4 of the European Cup.
They've all travelled up yesterday and today. And the drop goal just to finish proceedings. He dictated everything. And the Welsh coaches will be hoping that he can have that platform next week when they go to Dublin, because he can control games.
There it is. Plenty of Scarlet supporters in this packed recreation ground. The pitch held up. Gareth Jenkins, coach of Llanelli. What a moment for him. He masterminded victory over Leicester, and now he's done it again at Bath. Stuart Gallagher, the club chairman, with him there. These are proud moments for the Welsh club. Here we have it. Under the floodlights and on the sodden turf of the recreation ground. The full-time score is Bath 10, Llanelli 27.
And there is Jonathan Callard. I don't think anything he could have done today. They were just totally outplayed, outpowered in the forwards. It's going to be a difficult season for him. Bit of a lifeline, the Heineken Cup for Bath, and now they've got to go back to the league.
Llanelli come out just to say thank you to their supporters. Bath supporters troop away from the ground. The Scarlets fans remain there. And up goes the cheer.
Well, certainly a scarlet day down in the West Country, and even though Bath had those scoring opportunities in the second half, in the end, the domination up front was just too much, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They got off to a great start in the way that they ground them down, and Bath were looking at the scoreboard and were 12 points, 15 points, 18 points behind. And yeah, Scarlets there, they really just did batter them up front. There was lots of picking and going, there was big defence, they were mauling, they were just... Easterby was just chipping away at them. He was hitting it down into the channels, down into that coffin corner area right by the try line. And if Bath were going to score, it was going to have to be a 70, 80-yard try, and a build-up to get there. So yeah, they were ground down. I think Bath will be disappointed because they'll look at the video of that game and say we played for about 10, 15 minutes and we looked as if we could score some tries and look dangerous. But when you're 18 points behind, it's a little bit late then.
Well, we'll see one or two of Bath's scoring opportunities and the try in a moment or two. But as he did against Leicester at Stradey, Stephen Jones effectively just kicked Bath to death, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And I mean, knowing what it's like when you're playing against good kickers, Bath would have been drilled this week. Don't give penalties away. This guy's going to punish you from 40, 45 yards out. And yet, time after time, they were giving, some of them were a little bit dodgy, some of them were quite silly penalties. And yeah, with the guy, the sort of form that Stephen Jones is in at the moment, you just can't afford to do it. I mean, they're all, none of them were particularly easy kicks because of the conditions, because of the wet and the wind, and muddy underfoot. They were all top draw. And then a great strike for a drop goal under pressure, made it look pretty easy in Stephen Jones's day, really.
If the Irish team and the selectors and the coaching team wanted any warning signs about next week in the Six Nations, there they have it, don't they? By the way, Ireland-Wales from Lansdowne Road live here on Sunday Grandstand next Sunday, because he's certainly put down a marker there.
Oh, he has, and you know, that 10 spot for Wales has been waiting to be filled, and you've got to give the guy some credit for standing up in a massive game. With all the controversy about yesterday, should it have gone on, etc. It would have been very easy to lose focus as a team, you know, an extra day in a hotel. And he showed a lot of character, and that's the sort of character that international players need to have at 10, because, as you say, you know, away in Dublin is a hell of a game.
So you'd certainly pick him instead of Iestyn Harris at 10 anyway?
I think that's going to be a close call. It depends what type of game you're going to play. Obviously, you know, with that type of ratio of kicking in an international game, you do need 90% goal kickers, and he is definitely one of them. However, Iestyn offers, I think, a little bit more around the park.
Well, Stephen Jones is being ushered very quickly to have a chat with us, because he won the Heineken Man of the Match. So we do know, obviously, that 3 of the Heineken Cup semi-finalists, Castres beating Montferrand yesterday, Munster with that great win against Stade Francais, Llanelli have just won against Bath, and in a moment or two we'll be heading off to Welford Road to show you what happened in the other match taking place today between Leicester and Leinster. Still the Welsh celebrations take place on the field at the Rec, and for those couple of thousand Welshmen who've got to head back across the Severn Bridge, paying the toll, of course, going that way, because they got in free coming the other way. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to pay the £4 to get back home down to West Wales. I think we're hoping to hear from Stephen Jones in just a second, but maybe before we do that, why don't we have a look at 1 or 2 of the scoring opportunities that Bath had in that second half. Early on, obviously, we had Mike Catt as one of the key figures, and in the second half it was noticeable that Bath upped the pace just a wee bit, and they had 1 or 2 opportunities where they had 2 or 3 phases of play that you thought, hang on a moment, the balance of power shifting here.
Well, they've obviously said that at half-time. Look, fellas, just keep the ball. Let's work to get possession. Right, they're not kicking for the corner. They're taking a quick tap penalty. I thought Nathan Thomas had quite a tidy game with a lot of effort. We all had a bit of a scream in the studio with that sort of tackle. I mean, that's you know, what we enjoy in this type of game, very physical encounter. But I mean, just the way that Bath are working. They're working over the ball. They're working to get round to Catty so that he can get the ball into a little bit of space. A little bit unfortunate there, he's been given man and ball, but that was fairly symptomatic of how Bath were playing, in the fact that, you know, they were doing good things for 3, 4, on that occasion maybe a few more phases, but then when it came to that killer punch, really they only had, I think, 2 out-and-out opportunities where they should have scored. They scored 1 of them.
Okay, well, we'll see that in just a second, but let's head back down to the Rec and hear from 2 of the leading figures in Llanelli's victory.
Thanks, John. Stephen Jones, many congratulations. You're into the semi-finals of the Heineken Cup. You're also the Heineken Man of the Match. Now, Jonathan Davies